The silent slaughter. Imagine standing on the terrace of a Manhattan penthouse. You have the watch, the G-Wagon, the assets, and the lifestyle most people dream about. But there's a problem. You reach for your wallet to pay for dinner, and your hand shakes. Not because you're cold, but because you know the truth. Despite millions in assets, you have almost no cash. Worse, your credit line has just been frozen. Welcome to the Rich Session. The ultra-wealthy aren't necessarily losing everything because they spent too much. They're getting trapped by leverage, illiquid assets, rising costs, real estate losses, taxes, and investments they can't easily sell. And the first problem is leverage. For years, wealthy investors used a strategy often called buy, borrow, die. Instead of selling stocks and triggering capital gains taxes, they borrowed against their assets. Imagine having $100 million in stock. Rather than selling it to fund your lifestyle, you borrow against it. The shares remain yours, you get cash, and the loan can appear relatively cheap when interest rates are low. It was an incredible financial machine, until borrowing became expensive. Now imagine a tech founder worth $50 million on paper, with $10 million borrowed against private company shares. Then the company's valuation collapses. Suddenly, the bank wants more collateral or repayment, but the founder doesn't have millions in cash. The house can't be sold quickly, and the private shares may be nearly impossible to liquidate. On paper, he's rich. In reality, he's trapped. That's the danger of being asset-rich and cash-poor. The same problem is hitting commercial real estate. For decades, wealthy investors treated office buildings as reliable stores of wealth. But remote work, higher interest rates, vacancies, and refinancing pressure have changed the equation. Imagine buying an office building for $200 million with $50 million of your own money and $150 million in debt. Years later, the building is half empty and worth only $90 million. The debt is still $150 million. Your $50 million of equity has effectively disappeared, and when the loan matures, the bank may refuse to refinance the full amount. You either find tens of millions in cash or hand over the property. This isn't just a real estate problem. It exposes a larger truth. Leverage magnifies wealth on the way up and losses on the way down. Then there's lifestyle inflation. The wealthy have their own version of inflation. Private schools, security, household staff, insurance, luxury properties, travel, and everything required to maintain a high-end lifestyle. A person earning millions can still feel broke if their annual spending keeps rising alongside their income. And insurance is becoming another problem. Imagine owning a $20 million coastal home and suddenly discovering that insurers won't cover it because of wildfire, hurricane, or other catastrophic risk. The house may still be worth millions on paper, but its practical value changes when financing and insurance become difficult. Then there's private investing. During the era of cheap money, wealthy investors poured capital into startups, private equity, crypto, and other speculative assets. The problem? Unlike public stocks, private investments can be extremely difficult to sell. You might put $100,000 into a startup and wait years for an exit. If the company fails, your money disappears. If it survives but raises money at a lower valuation, your stake can be heavily diluted. The lesson is simple. An asset isn't truly liquid just because it has a high valuation. And then comes one of the most expensive financial events imaginable: divorce. A wealthy couple might appear to have $40 million, but that wealth could be tied up in businesses, private funds, real estate, and investments. Dividing those assets can mean lawyers, accountants, valuations, taxes, forced sales, and years of litigation. A fortune that looked enormous on paper can shrink dramatically once everything has to be divided and converted into cash. Then there's the tax problem. Governments around the world are looking for revenue, while wealthy individuals increasingly face more scrutiny of offshore accounts, complex structures, and international assets. For someone whose wealth is tied to a private company, even a change in tax policy can create a difficult question. How do you pay a tax bill when most of your wealth isn't cash? And the final danger is psychological. When someone builds their entire identity around wealth and status, losing money isn't just a financial event. It can feel like losing their identity. That's when people can make terrible decisions. Instead of cutting expenses, they borrow more. Instead of admitting an investment failed, they double down. Instead of accepting a loss, they chase the next big win. And that's where financial desperation can turn into fraud, lawsuits, and sometimes personal catastrophe. So what does all of this mean? The lesson isn't that every wealthy person is going broke. It's that wealth on paper is not the same thing as financial security. Leverage can magnify losses. Illiquid assets can trap capital. High expenses can destroy cash flow. And a fortune can disappear surprisingly quickly when everything goes wrong at the same time. That's why the real definition of wealth isn't simply how expensive your house is or how large your investment portfolio looks. It's liquidity. It's solvency. It's having enough financial flexibility to survive a bad year without being forced to sell everything. The people at the top aren't immune to financial risk. In some cases, their complexity creates entirely new risks. So don't chase the appearance of wealth. Build the kind of wealth that lets you sleep at night. Save cash. Avoid unnecessary debt. Keep your expenses under control. And never confuse a high net worth with financial freedom. Because the most dangerous financial position isn't being poor. It's looking rich while being completely trapped. Stay liquid. Stay humble. And remember, sometimes the biggest financial disaster is the one nobody can see coming.